Amazing.
I
Well,
haven't. You know what? I didn't check my weight. I don't know if you wanted to ask me that or something. I could
yeah,
check it
yeah.
right
Go
now.
on. What's your weight now?
Yeah, let me check. Let me
I mean,
check.
we are
I've got my
recording, but I'll pause it. Amazing.
damn.
So,
I've
what's
gone
the
up a
weight?
bit, man.
What's the weight?
Late is 84.
84. Yeah. It's not bad.
Yeah.
It's not bad. It's still you're
So
still
the part, so
approximately.
because the last time I checked, it was before Ramadan,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
which I think was 81 or something like that.
Yeah,
So
but you. I mean, Ramadan came and you haven't been. Of course,
I didn't work out at all.
you
Yeah.
didn't work out, so that's normal. But you're still approximately 10 kilos down, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, more. I think you started 96, I believe, right?
No, I started 90. It wasn't that high. It was like the
95, 94.
90s, low 90s.
Yeah, mid 90s. I remember like 95, 94. I
Okay.
mean,
Yeah.
think of it this way, right? I mean, you started at, let's say, 94. Um, yeah, I do remember 94, 93. I'll go back and check. And you went on for 3 months. You dropped down to 81, which is amazing.
Yeah.
And then Ramadan came, so you couldn't train as diligently. You couldn't diet properly, and you're
Yeah.
still and you went up 2, 3 kilos. Fine. Eid came. I'm sure Eid was,
That weekend was a madness, bro.
yeah, yeah, same. Eid came, so I'm sure you indulged in things like that, and you're just getting back into it now, and you're still down 10 kilos.
Yeah.
So first of all, of course, well done on that. You can do better,
Thanks, bro.
but that's with everything.
Yeah.
But as I always say, the work you do before, the work that you set in the previous months, their results don't just come instantaneously, but
Mm.
they also they stay within the time frame that even when you stop, because of the work that you've put in before, the results will continue on. So
Yeah.
like right now, you stopped working out, you haven't been dieting 100%, but still your weight is not shot up very, very high because of the habits and because of all the work that you've put in the previous 3 to 4 months. So
Yeah.
now you're in a position where you can actually dive into it straight away,
Yeah.
and you would not have lost a lot. You just need to, like, you're 84, right? It's just 3 kilos off of where you were, which
Mm.
in a week, really, in a week or two, you can get back to that.
True. Yeah.
And you've put yourself in a position to do that. Now, without the work that you've done before, you would not have been able to do that. And that's what you have done very well, by the way.
Hmm.
Like, yes, you were not 100% all the way through, but that doesn't you don't need to be 100% all the way through. You just need to be consistent.
Yeah.
You need to make sure that you do enough every single day for 3, 4, 5 months periods. And if you can do that, you'll get results, and these results
Yeah.
will last. These results will continue on. So first of all, I mean, you haven't lost anything. This is one thing you need to also keep in mind,
Mm.
and that is that just because you haven't trained for a month doesn't mean that you need to start from zero. You don't need to start from zero. You
Yeah.
kind of just need to get the ball rolling, as we discussed earlier. You just need to get the ball. The ball is already there, right? Like, you've started, you've got the ball rolling. It's gotten bigger. It's gotten bigger. Now the ball is just not moving in a rhythm that you want to, but it's still there. You just need to start pushing it a little bit, and that's it. That's all you need. You don't need to build the ball up. You just need to push it a little
Mm.
bit, push it a little bit, and then once you get it pushing, once you get it rolling, then you're back on it. And this
Yeah.
time, you're gonna be stronger than before. Like, your performance is gonna improve. You'll see.
Mm.
Because you've taken this break, you've given your body this break. You've given a break, mentally, physically. When you come back into it, and it might take a few weeks to get into rhythm, but once you get into rhythm, your results are gonna shoot up. And
Yeah.
that's the power of habits. That's why I try to teach you guys habits all the time.
Yeah. It's
Yeah.
almost like there's like a baseline that's been created, right? And you'll always be going above that baseline. It's like when I remember when I used to play football back in the day a lot. I used to play football a lot at school, outside of school, in football clubs, etc. And then once you get to university, you become a bit lazy and you stop playing football. But if I go now to play like a five-a-side game with my friends, I still know how to hit that ball. I still know how to pass the ball. I still know how to strike it in the goal. I still know how to dribble it. Because even though I haven't done it for so many years, there's been like this baseline that's been created where I'm comfortable with the idea of kicking a ball around, and I know what I'm doing. It might not be at the highest level of performance like I had before, but I can do it. And if I took it seriously, like I don't feel like taking football seriously nowadays, but if I did want to, and I want to really play seriously, then I could probably perform very, very well because I've already got that baseline. And so I'm, like you said, I'm not starting from zero. I just need to kind of push it along. So that's kind of how I would think about this. Is that, you're not at zero. You've got the baseline. You can just keep pushing.
Of course. Yeah, it's all about the foundation. It's all about the fundamentals. There's a really interesting tree called conifer tree. It is like in it's in it grows mostly in Germany and like the Scandinavian countries. It's a very interesting tree. The way this tree grows, it spends the first 10 years just building its roots. Like it doesn't grow like a normal tree, right? Like a normal tree usually grows from the trunk, right? It grows from the
Yeah,
trunk, and then slowly year after year it just gets bigger. This tree doesn't grow like that. This tree stays the same size for 10 years. For 10 years it stays the same in terms of the trunk. But what it does is that it grows its roots for 10 years.
yeah,
So for the first 10 years it grows a little bit, nothing too significant. You don't notice any change. But the roots grows deep. It goes really, really deep. And it does that because this conifer tree, by the way, it's a very colonial tree. So it kills other trees around it. That's
right.
that's how it survives. Like it takes food from other trees. So the way it grows, it spends the first 10 years just growing its roots like stronger and deeper into the soil. And then after 10 years, once it's like, grown the roots so deep that have taken the majority of the area of the space of the territory, then after that, it starts growing from the trunk and it just starts growing like insane. Like, it spends maybe 10 years growing, maybe up to like 10, 20 centimeters. And then after that, it goes within 3 to 5 years, it grows into a full grown tree,
Yeah,
you know. And if you think about it, like, if you compare it to any normal tree, within a 10-year span, a normal tree will grow faster. But within a 15-year span or a 20-year span, the conifer grows a lot more.
hmm,
And it's the same thing that what you want to do with your fitness. You don't necessarily just want to focus on what am I getting now. You don't just want to focus on that. I guess that's not the most sustainable recipe. We're here for sustainability. We're thinking long term. We're thinking, how can I do this in the next 3 years, 4 years? And then we spoke about this on our first call, if you remember. I was always
yeah,
trying to instill that idea in you. A lot of times we think about the 3 months. What can I do in 3 months? And yes, you can do a lot in 3 months. But in 3 months, you cannot build that strong root that can
hmm,
last you for 10 years. To build that, you need to spend as much time as possible building the foundation and building the fundamentals. And it's boring, right? It's not the interesting thing. It's not the fun thing. It's not, I'm sure it's not fun for the conifer to just build its roots, right?
yeah,
And it just looks the same for like 10 years. But
mm,
the fact that it can do that, it means that in the next 10 years, it can outgrow any tree. And that's what you want. You want to spend a good amount of time in the fundamentals and the foundation, not just mastering it, beyond mastery. You want to almost perfect it. Well,
yeah,
you're not going to perfect it, but you want to almost perfect it. And if you can perfect it and you get that solid foundation, then in the next 2 to 3 years, your growth is going to be much faster than a normal individual who has to always go back to the foundation. I struggled with that for a while. So I remember when I first started, I was focusing in the now, 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 and I was just going at it. I was so intense. I went all out. But you can't do that for 3 years, 4 years. You
yeah,
can do that for 3 months. And then I found myself that I would do this for 3 months and then I would just fall off the
mm,
bandwagon. And then I have to get back on it for 3 months, fall off the bandwagon, get back to the fundamentals. And I said, hold on, I don't want to be doing this all the time. I just want to do it once and I don't want to do it again. So
yeah,
the way was is just you focus on the fundamentals and the foundation and spend as much time as you can over there. And if you can master that, then then you know what? You don't need to. After that, it just becomes part of your identity. It becomes part of you.
Yeah,
You don't need to spend more time on it, and that's
yeah, 100%.
that's the end goal that you want. That's the system you want to create for yourself.
Yeah, yeah, that's what I found like through the program is it becomes sort of second nature. The idea of eating certain types of food and staying away from certain types of food, walking, drinking water, working out, like all of these things become, rather than becoming like I forgot the word that they use for that, but it's sort of like it's hard to do it. Like rather than it becoming something which feels like a barrier, basically, it becomes something which is as if you need to get up and you need to get ready, you need to get changed and get ready for work, right? It becomes you never feel like that's a barrier. I mean, sometimes maybe on weekends, yeah, that's like a barrier, but most of the time that doesn't feel like a barrier. It feels like something that you just need to get done. So similar, like with the program, the way that it was done, like I always thought fitness programs need to be like you have to put in so much effort at the beginning and you have to sacrifice so much and you have to like go on some crazy diet and you have to go on some crazy fitness plan. That's the only way to trick your body into becoming fit. I never really thought that you could build one habit, then build another habit on top of that, then build another habit on top of that, and eventually have this kind of seamless second nature system that's in place, and your body recognizes that that's just something that we do now. And so you haven't like shocked your body. You've like slowly given your body, your mind, um, these habits, and now you can carry them out. And although that doesn't mean that just because you have those habits that you're gonna you're gonna be perfect doing them all the time. There's gonna be maybe even days or weeks or months where your diet might not be the best, or your workouts might not be the best, or this that might not be the best. But because you know what that system is, and you know where it's meant to take you, you know what your foundation is. I think that's the most important thing, because then moving into the next few years of your life, you've got an understanding of how things are meant to be. Even if you're not doing it properly, there's an understanding of how things are meant to be. Like it's drilled in your head, this is how it's meant to be. And so you'll fall back on that. And I think that's the like main benefit that I got from the program, is that it wasn't so much the results. Like that's great, like I did lose weight, right? And I did feel more energy and whatnot. That's great. But I felt like the most primary benefit that I got was um understanding that there's these habits are there, and this system is there, and that's what I can always fall back on. Because I think going into it, that's something that I always found difficult, was being able to have health and fitness as something which is part of my life. That's what I struggled with. I always felt like it's something that, okay, oh, I'm getting a bit fat now. Let me try and do something about that. Oh, I'm feeling a bit healthy. Let me try and do something about that. It wasn't like this is I'm meant to be. It wasn't like I'm meant to just always be healthy. I'm meant to always focus on fitness. So it was more like whenever I need to, I'll just add that into my life, and when I don't need it anymore, I'll take it out of my life. And I think that's what I always struggled with, is finding how to be consistent with that, how to make it as part of my life. And I think, alhamdulillah, the program kind of helped me do that. And so now, like, I'm looking forward to um, using that foundation for like things in the future. Like I always wanted to do martial arts, and I always feel like, oh, I can't do martial arts. I'm not fit enough, I'm not healthy enough for that. But like now I know how my body will react in terms of the baseline fitness, health and fitness. Like I have that in my mind now. So then I'm gonna build upon that, and then eventually go and do other things like martial arts and whatnot.
Nice, man. Well said. Well said. And to be honest, the hardest thing is doing what you just spoke about, which is to make this a lifestyle. That's the hardest bit. That's not easy to make it to make your health and fitness a a way of life, a way where you wake up and you don't think about it. You just do it. You build a habit on top of a habit on top of a habit, and then that just becomes part of your day to day life. That's the hardest thing to do. but it's also the most rewarding, and it's also the one that brings you the best results. That is why it's the hardest. Look, it's easy to go 3 month blitz focusing on your fitness. That's easy. I find that very easy. Like if you tell me, hey, look, from now until September, all you have to do is your fitness and that's it. Yeah, 3 months, of course. This is very simple. But if you come to me and tell me, hey, look, you need to be consistent for the next 3 years, when I think about it, I'm like, whoa, wow, 3 years. You want me to work out 3, 4 times a week, eat clean, do my 10K steps, drink the water, do all of these things for the next 3 years? Like when you think about it, you're like, wow, that's difficult.
Yeah.
But it's also this is what's gonna bring you the most result. And it's like exactly what you touched upon, which is you're only gonna get there if you build that foundation and you get to know yourself. And we spoke about this, we speak about this in our calls as well, which is, look, a transformation is not just action, right? It's not just you executing. Like that is half of the equation. You executing is half of the equation. The other half is introspection, right?
Mm.
Sitting down, knowing yourself, questioning yourself, understanding your feelings, understanding your emotions. That's how you turn a practice into a habit. When you truly understand at the core of you why you do what you do, and you understand at the core of you how you can override any emotion that comes and that wants to block what you want to do. You also spoke about this when you said, sometimes you just, weekends come, you don't feel like doing it.
Yeah.
If you don't have that introspection, you'll never be able to overcome that. You'll just, feed off of this emotion, and you'll be reactive instead of being unreactive, instead of just focusing on this like a process, like a
Mm.
system, like a discipline. No, I just do this. And that comes from introspection, and that is very important. To touch upon martial arts, um, you should definitely do that, and I think you're ready for that as well. You should definitely
Yeah.
do martial arts. By the way, like I've been doing martial arts for a long time. I was doing martial arts since
Oh,
uni.
really?
Yeah, yeah, I've been
Ah,
doing.
okay.
Oh, since uni, I've been practicing. I used to train in BKK. It's right next to the right next to Meadows. There
Oh,
was
yeah,
a
yeah, yeah, yeah. I went there a couple of times. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I used to train there. I started there from like first year. I've been training for Brazilian Jiu Jitsu specifically. I've been training for approximately 4 years now. I haven't been
Wow.
training with COVID. I didn't get back lately, but I'm gonna get back. But look, man, martial arts is nothing teaches you more than martial arts. Nothing. Maybe
Yeah.
maybe parenthood
Yeah.
will teach you as much. But from my experience, like I've started a business. I've worked for a few companies. I failed at businesses, um, and I learned a lot. But nothing has taught me more than martial arts.
Really.
Nothing, man. It's you go there submitting yourself, and you're going there to sort of learn how you can take a beating. Imagine you step into a place and you know you're about to get beat up, and you're there to learn how to accept that beating, how to take it to the chin, and learn from it. And I don't think there's anything that gives you that reality check more than martial
Mm.
arts. It just keeps you grounded, it keeps you fit, gets you strong. It turns you into a beast. You can defend
Yeah.
yourself, you can defend your family,
Mm.
but most importantly, it keeps your ego in check. Well,
Yeah.
sit down, sit down. You're not who you think you are. Yeah, there are some killers walking around on Earth that can kill you in seconds. So
Yeah.
it humbles you, and you know, I truly recommend it to anyone, especially
Mhm.
especially parents who have families who have specifically parents, right? You have a family. Yeah,
Yeah.
a lot of the lessons that you learn there, you can teach it to your kids. You know,
Mhm.
I try to teach what I learned in jujitsu to my little brothers all the time because I
Yeah.
think there's some really, really deep and valuable life lessons in there. So that's great. Also, I wanted to actually ask you this.
Yeah.
Um, what's interesting? So you're one of my clients who has a family. And you're a young
Yeah.
guy. You're what, 26, right? 26, 27,
25, nearly 26.
20, nearly 26. Wow, you're almost 2 years younger than me, and you have a family,
Yeah.
which is amazing, and you work full time as well. And of course, you committed to this fitness, to your fitness and your health. I would love to know, man, how are you able to balance all of these things out?
It's a good question, man. Um, well, when when I started my family up, um, I knew so many things were gonna take a hit. So many things were gonna be sacrificed. I even, like, to be honest, I was doing a master's program when I had got married, and I had to stop that master's program when my wife got pregnant because we weren't living together in the same place. We were still living apart once we had been married. But obviously, once your wife gets pregnant, you have to move in together. You have to support her. You have to take care of her, right?
Of course.
And so because of that, I don't know. I was working full time. I was doing my master's part time, and now my wife was pregnant, so I had to move out and find somewhere to live. So the like least priority for me at that moment was getting my master's degree done. So I told them, okay, I'll put it on pause, and then I thought I'll come back to it once my son is born. But after that, I realized, like, parenthood isn't as easy as you think it is. I mean, nobody really thinks it's easy, but I thought that, okay, I'll just get in the groove of things. Like how you think, okay, if I, start something, once I get into the groove of things, then, I'll go back to doing everything else that I was doing. But when it came to raising my son, that was not the case because, um, you know, every month as they keep growing, there's always so much to do. There's
Of
always so much
course.
responsibility to take on, and so I couldn't go back to that master's program. So that sacrifice, and then also my health started sacrificing as well. But I knew early on that I didn't want that to take the biggest hit possible because I knew that to be fit and to be healthy is actually going to be a benefit to my family. It's going to give me the energy to be able to take care of my wife, my kids, and to be an active person in the household. Like, I didn't want to be that typical scenario of a dad where he works all day, he's super tired, he comes home, and then that's it. He has no time for anything else. I wanted to keep my energy levels up such that I could work 8 hours in a day. And then when I got home, I could spend another 5 hours or whatnot with my family, no problem, right? So I noticed my health started to kind of deteriorate, and I was gaining weight and I was losing energy and whatnot. So I thought it's time for me to, like, do something about that. The good thing was that my wife was also in kind of the same situation where she realized her health was going down the drain and she wanted to do something about it as well. So I guess the unique situation for me was that I had my wife there to help me and I was there to help her in terms of going on a fitness journey. So that kind of helped to balance things. It helped to reduce the barriers because if I was doing it on my own, then it would have been a lot more harder. But the fact that my wife is doing it, she lives with me, she's in the same household, it means that we can figure out our schedule. So if we know the kids sleep at a certain time or the kids need to feed at a certain time, that means we know, okay, we can both do our workouts together at another time. As also the diet, right? It became a lot more easier to balance the diet and do the diet properly because we're both eating the same food. It's not like I had to cook my own meal and she had to cook her own meal. We're gonna eat the same foods because we're both trying to get healthier together. So that also reduced that barrier as well. Um, and we both went into it with this mindset that we're doing it for the sake of our children, for the sake of our future, which is our children. It wasn't just to to look good or to feel healthy. There was like this higher purpose behind it, which was that we want to have health and energy to take care of our children. So that kind of then becomes a priority. Like, although at the beginning health was something that I sacrificed, but now for the sake of my family, but now it's become a priority for the sake of my family rather than a sacrifice for my family. And so that is kind of what drove me to do it. It was obviously very difficult to balance everything, working full time, you got kids and whatnot. So a lot of adjustments had to be made. Like, I couldn't just say, like, yeah, I'm gonna spend an hour or two in the gym, a couple of times a week. That wasn't gonna happen because I have to, I've got other responsibilities to take care of. So I had to adjust that. How can I still get in the same impact of working out, but doing it in a short amount of time and doing it closer to home, maybe even at home, right? So those things had to be adjusted in order to balance everything. And also just I had to be creative with some of the aspects of the program. So in terms of like going on walks, getting the 10K steps in, right? I had to be creative and think about, okay, I can take my kids out to the park with me, and that way I can get my steps in. I can even run around the park with them and get the steps in, or I can put them in a push chair and we can go on for a long walk. And sometimes they fall asleep in the push chair. That's fine. That's good. Then they'll get a nap in. I'll keep walking around with my wife, and then that also means that uh, we're not sacrificing any one-to-one time. Like usually, as a wife and a husband, you need kind of at the end of the day some one-to-one time after the kids have gone to sleep. We realized that, okay, if we take on this program in terms of being serious about our fitness, we are going to have to sacrifice time somewhere. And so some of the time that was being sacrificed was kind of one-to-one time and alone time with each other. But we realized, hey, actually, we could have that one-to-one time just going on walks together,
Mm,
right? And so we're doing two things. We're talking to each other, we're having that alone time, we're, getting to build our relationship more. But at the same time, we're getting our steps in,
mm,
we're getting our fitness in, right? So yeah, like as a father, I had to really think about making this a priority, but also being able to kind of accommodate my life, accommodate the program into my lifestyle as well. For other people, it might be easy just to be like, yeah, I'm gonna add on one more hour to my week and go to gym, but that was not gonna happen for me, right? I had to figure out ways to put things in. Yeah.
yeah, big respect as well, man. And I like what you said as well with you wanted to do it for the sake of your family, right?
Mm.
And having this why, having that purpose. Uh, if you have such a strong purpose, and if you define that early on, it will override anything. I mean, you just described to me all the challenges that you faced, but at the same time, all the challenges that you overcame, right?
Mm.
And I think if you remember on our first call, we sat down and the biggest thing that we wanted to find out is the why, right? What is the why? What is
Yeah.
the why behind the
Yeah.
why behind the why, right?
Yeah.
Like we want to get to the core of that. And the reason why I stress that with all my clients is for this specific reason. Uh, you listed to me many challenges that, to be honest, for me, right? I'm sure that I do this for a living. I have a very good understanding of my fitness and my health. I'm sure that if you put me in that I would have struggled. I
Mm.
myself would have
Yeah.
struggled taking care of my wife, like you said, spending one-to-one time with her, taking care of my kids, working, going to the gym. Like, oh, man, this is running a business. Having a podcast, like this is not going to happen, right? Forget about my
Yeah.
fitness and health. But the fact that you have a very strong why, and the why is for the sake of your family, you'll be able to override any challenge.
Mm.
You'll have a compass that can direct you through any challenge. Because when you have such a strong purpose, any challenge is seamless, doesn't mean anything to you, right?
Yeah.
Like if a challenge that comes up, like I don't really feel like it, or if a challenge comes up where like, okay, I can't really go to the gym, the fact that you have such a strong purpose, and that purpose is for your family, for the sake of your family, to take care of them, you'll be willing to do whatever it takes. And you did that very well. Honestly, I'm very, very proud of that as well. You did that very, very well. I mean, I was there just to show you the ropes, but you took the rope
Yeah.
and you dealt with it very, very well. So big respect to
Mm.
that. And from here on, it's just about getting, like as we discussed, getting the ball rolling. That's it.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
whatever you learned in the past, 3 to 6 months that we've been working together, the one thing that I don't want you to lose is that rhythm. Don't lose the
Yeah.
rhythm, because all the work that you've put in the 6 months, if you don't do anything for 2 to 3 months, you lose everything,
Mm-hmm.
because you lost the rhythm. Now you have to, yes, maybe you have a foundation, you can start building on top of it, but it's just going to take so much more time. Don't lose the rhythm, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
How always, like sometimes you fall off, it's all about correcting the course and getting back it. To me, this sounds like another challenge that you're just facing. That's it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Ramadan was on the way. I'm sure you had to do things with the family. Eid came on. To me, that sounds just like a challenge. And the fact that you've overcome so many challenges previously, you can overcome this challenge. And
Yeah.
yeah, man, well done on being able to balance
Thanks,
these
bro.
all of these things out. And
Yeah. I think a big part to it was definitely the accountability that we had with yourself, because all the things that you explained to us, maybe if I spend, I don't know, a week of research, maybe I can find them online. I could buy a book here, buy a book here, buy a course, a quick online course, a YouTube video, and maybe I can find all those little things, and then put them all together into a program for myself. And this is how I used to think. I used to think, I'm not gonna pay for anything, or I'm not gonna take a coach, or I'm not gonna have like a program like this. I'll find it all myself and I'll get it done. But that's fine. You can maybe find those things, but you're never gonna have the impact. You're never gonna stick to it. You're never gonna be consistent unless you have accountability. And that was like a big thing, was knowing that every week, not even every week, like pretty much every day, I was being held to account. I had to show you what I'm eating. I had to tell you, okay, yeah, today I'm going to do my workout. Today I got this many steps in. Today I failed because of this reason, right? So not just telling you my successes, but also telling you my failures. All of those things um, helped tremendously, because if we were doing it by ourselves, trying to implement that system, it wouldn't happen. And also like your knowledge in terms of how to implement the system, because for me, if you just told me at the beginning, okay, here you go, here's what you need to do, 10K steps every day, drink like 3-4 liters of water, eat this food, do this workout, and you said, okay, go ahead and do it, I would have thought to myself, I have to do all of that in one day. I'm not doing that. But the way that the program worked was, you know let's build up slowly. Okay, spend the next 2 weeks just drinking your water. That's it. Okay, now let's add in 5K steps. Okay, next week, let's make that 10K now. Okay, now let's, put the workouts in. Let's make them harder now. And the fact that that was slowly being implemented um, was like a big help. I think that made me realize that actually this journey is not as difficult as I thought it was going to be. Like, I've got family members who all the time they say, I want to get fit, I want to get healthy, but I have to do all of this to get fit and healthy. And I used to think like that too. And now that I done this, I tell them, guys, it's simple. Just look, I'm telling you, just go out for a walk every day. Okay, let me know when you've done that, and I'll let you know, how you're doing, what else you need to do. Um, but unfortunately, some people, they still don't do it. Yeah, you can only do so much for everyone. But that was like a big barrier in my mind. It's like I have to do so much to become fit and healthy. But no, the process is very easy. But obviously the difficulty is being consistent in it.
Of course, of course. I'm glad that that the experience was very positive for you and you actually saw an impact. And it's like you said, it's accountability, man. Accountability is the biggest, the king, right? Not just accountability to me. I mean, of course, I try to hold all my clients accountable, but what I try to teach the most, and this is very difficult to teach, is being accountable to yourself. That is the biggest. If you can get to a point where you're accountable to yourself, so imagine me on your case, but it's not me who's on your case, it's you on your case.
Mm,
Like me checking on you, sending you a message, jumping on, are you doing this? Are you doing? Imagine that is in you,
yeah,
right? And you have that constantly on your case. Now, it can also be bad if you do it too much, but if you have a good amount of it, then you're gonna be fit for life, right?
mm,
And you've had an experience of it externally, and it's also important to have someone always have someone by your side to help you and support you. But essentially, you want to get that accountability to yourself, because at the end of the day, you're gonna do the work, right?
yeah,
I'm here to help you, and I'll always help you, but you need to do the work. Like, it's like the lecturer, like the professor who tries to explain difficult concept to his students, right? But that's it. That's all he does. He's not going to give you the grades. He's not going to give you the 2-1, the first. You have to give the two
yeah,
one. You have to give the first. The professor is just there to explain things to you and to provide you support and provide you some form of accountability as well by marking your papers, asking you how it went, giving you feedback, so on and so forth. But at the end of the day, if you don't put in the work, you get nothing. And eventually,
yeah,
you want to get to a point where you become the professor. right? Where you're publishing your own papers, you're putting it out, people come ask you for help, people ask you for support. And once you reach that level, then you'll be fit for life. You
Yeah.
always want to keep that in mind, right? Like the biggest lesson, the biggest takeaway from this program is learn how to hold yourself accountable.
Yeah.
And it doesn't come easy. Look, I struggled with this until now. I've been doing this for over 10 years. I still struggle with that. But I'm better today than I was a year ago, than 2 years ago. And I'm night and day difference than what I was 10 years ago. And that's what you want, right? Hold yourself
Yeah.
accountable. And if you can do that, you'll always be fit. You'll always be healthy. And the fact that you have your wife by your side who's doing this as well, of course, you have me. You can always ask me for help whenever you want. You can always
Yeah.
jump on the calls that we have every week and always provide you with support, you know. So, but well done, man. Honestly, I'm very proud of what you've done. You've you've come a good way. You've learned a lot. You've executed.
Yeah.
Keep the ball rolling, and you're just gonna get better, and that's it.
Yeah. Yeah. Thanks, bro. Really
Oh,
appreciate it.
my pleasure, man. Any closing remarks?
Um, just I guess, health and fitness is it doesn't have to be something scary. It's just something that is, um like you said, you need to have a why behind it, and then it stops being this kind of scary thing that people always feel like, that is, it's impossible to achieve. As long as you have that why, then things will keep you going. Because you know over the course of your life, you're going to have the dips in your health, right? There's going to be times when, you're going to be healthy, you're going to be unhealthy, you're going to be slightly overweight, slightly underweight. Things, your body's going to keep changing. But as long as you have this understanding of why you need to keep a balance in your health and your fitness, and you have a system in place for that, at least the core foundations of that system in place, then then for life you can always keep that mindset, and you can keep turning towards those sort of systems and actions and whatnot. Because sometimes we feel like, if I go on a program, um, after 3 months, that's it. I'm done. I'm fit and I'm healthy. But for me to sign up to a program, it had to be that this is gonna change me for life, right? It's not gonna be like I'm gonna lose all my weight and then once the program is done, I'm gonna gain it all again. It had to be that something had to be given to me that for life is gonna change. So even by the end of the program, even if I only lost 5 kgs, let's say, but as long as it implemented into me that health and fitness is for life and how to keep that up for life, that's the most important thing. And I think, alhamdulillah, that's what I got out of this.
Alhamdulillah, good to hear that, man. Happy to hear that. And look, man, you're still at the beginning of your journey, and
Yeah,
this is just the start. And you're gonna get more. Just continue on this path, and you're gonna get more out of it. You know, squeeze all the benefits out of it. And I'm not worried about you. You know, I'm sure you'll do well. Honestly, this with the mentality, with what you've learned, and what you've developed, continue on this path, and you'll see night and day difference. I'm sure.
yeah,
Great,
inshallah.
man.
Cool, bro.
Inshallah. Thanks for your time, man. And I'll send you the podcast as well. You know,
All right.
and
Same, bro.
yeah,
Thanks so
thank
much.
you for listening, everyone. Have a great day.